Hello everybody. Checking out everything. Seems okay. Nice to have all of you here. Chat room. And here we are. And action. Hey everybody, welcome aboard. This is the Thursday edition of the live tech show, and of course we'll talk about this a little bit why we are on Thursday. So nice to have everybody here. This is the live tech show number 107, and well, last time was 2 weeks ago, and hope that you guys will enjoy today's show. And of course we are March the 8th 2018, and just want to wish a great International Women's Day to every woman out there that might be watching directly or indirectly or after the show. Nice to have all of you here. So this is show 107. We are here from now on every Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. That's this week it's 2000 UT, but we're changing our actually, we're not changing our UTC time. It's always going to stay, our regular time, sorry, it's always going to stay 3 p.m. Eastern time. But this weekend we are changing our time here in North America. So that means for some of you, you might notice that it's actually an hour, what is it, an hour later or earlier. If we are moving ahead 1 hour, that means that, yeah, I think it's going to be 1 hour later. I'm all messed up here. So anyways, it's going to be 1900 hours UTC, an hour earlier, sorry, an hour earlier. So for most of the people, an hour earlier, for those that don't change the time. So we are changing this Sunday, our time, moving ahead 1 hour. So yes, we are on Thursdays. And basically, we'll stay on Thursdays, and the reason why is there's a few little things that is happening, and that because of my work, it means that Tuesdays is getting a little complicated for me. So some Tuesdays I'll be off, but some Tuesdays I'll be very busy. So because of that, and because of the fact that I do have a certain promise of giving shows and live shows, I want to make sure that we are doing a show every week. And I don't like jumping a week without no shows. It's something that I really like to do, and not just because I don't like doing it, but I don't like skipping a show. It's also because I understand the number of people that are fans of the show, and that they actually want to have that show going on. And every time there's something happening and I don't have the time for the show, it's always kind of a little sad. So I changed the date to Thursday, so that we can actually have a show every week without any disturbance. It is going to make 3 days or 2 or 3 days full of shows. Like this week, for example, I've got 2 radio shows tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. So that means we're going to have 3 days in a row. It's a lot of shows, but I'd rather have it like that than skip out on the shows and then you find yourself with no shows for a little while, which is sad for a lot of people probably. So basically, this is to make sure that the shows are going to be aired every week. So yes, I am full of shows. So nice to see everybody on board. Tim Robinson, Patrick Manny, Green 9227, Douglas Elliott, Bobby Burgess, Adam Guardado, hello there. Douglas Perry, hello there. Christine Bowman, nice to have you here. Douglas Elliott, I believe I said hi. Sean Robinson, hey. Albert Zappa, David Walker. Anybody I've missed, please say hello. I want to say hi to everyone. It's always nice to have everybody here. Hello there, Cool Tech. Nice to have you on board. And Mr. Polycat wants to come over. Come on. Here we go. Mr. Cat wants to say hi to everyone. So let's Let's lower the camera here. Sorry, I just got to put the, let's lower the camera a little bit here. Mr. Cat saying hi to everyone. So it's gonna be nice. So Mr. He's been very, very, very effective today. I don't know. Sometimes I'm afraid that, you know, maybe he's sick or something, but nah, doesn't seem like it. So it's pretty nice to have everybody on board on this live show. So Mr. Cat saying hi to everyone. It's nice to have all of you here, by the way. It's pretty cool to see everybody on board. Yaman Kanakri, hello there. Nice to have you on board, and cool. And Lolo Partovsky, nice to have you on board also. So nice to have everybody here. It's always cool to have all of you on the live shows, as usual. Of course, one of the things of the live shows is donations. So if you can spare a few pennies, a few dollars, they are quite welcome. They help me continue. Without the donations, frankly, I would not have been able to continue with the live shows like I was doing. And so it's kind of cool to you know, have that help. And you guys have been very, very nice and generous. Thanks for everybody that have donated. If you've never donated and you want to donate, don't hesitate to, of course, give us a little something. Like I said, helps me in what I am doing. Just gonna, Mr. Cat is in a position that is not comfortable. Okay, here we go. So, of course, paypal.me/shortwave. Well, there's an error here. I just noticed, and I didn't notice it. So it's .me/shortwave, or the Yahoo email, and of course, patreon.com/radio and computers. So, thanks for everybody who donated. And if you've never donated, why not think about it? So before we go to the questions, because this is how it works, we have a little bit of tech news, then we have questions. So we'll answer questions afterwards. First of all, cryptocurrency mining is getting more and more of a big problem, and basically it's hitting every type and every bit of our society in every type of way possible. There's really a major issue right now. We had here in Quebec the local power company, Hydro-Quebec, that says that actually cryptocurrency mining is kind of hitting hard, and they will see an increase in the demand of electricity, because the more your computer works hard to do something, the more it actually consumes electricity. And they say that it's already been showing that there's an increase in the electricity from that. So, you know, every bit of our society is kind of hit by that cryptocurrency mining. So of course there's a lot of questions of how can we mitigate this, how can we make this less of a problem. I mean, there's really a lot of things happening, and it's hitting a lot of different you know, parts. If you're a tech guy, almost every part is more expensive because of the cryptocurrency mining. Graphics adapters are like really high priced now because of the capabilities they have in mining cryptocurrencies, and it's actually to a point now that it affects everybody. Iceland going crazy. They say that cryptocurrency mining right now is actually taking more power than the population everyday use of power on in the country. And you know, something's going to need to be done, because this right now is not a thing that's going away soon. It's actually something that's just going even more. It's getting bigger all the time. And here, for example, one of the ideas of that is that major players, major users of electricity should have, after a certain level, a very high rate of pricing for the electricity when they use too much. They say that maybe that could be something they would do. Cryptocurrency miners will typically take a lot of electricity. When they go above a certain level, you know, you triple or quadruple the price of electricity for them. so that it compensates. And at the same time, maybe it will mitigate. Maybe you know, cryptocurrency miners will say, well, okay, well, it's not worth it anymore. There was a report this week that I did see quickly that said that just one branch, there's a branch of bad guys that apparently are doing like $4 or $5 million per month in cryptocurrency by hijacking our computers. You know, it's getting a problem also because it's hijacking our browsers and everything. Today we had news that Microsoft says they actually, thanks to Windows Defender, avoided we didn't have a problem with the Dufoil cryptocurrency mining malware, and that's because Defender actually recognized it. It wasn't in the list. Apparently, it wasn't in the list of recognized you know, malware or anything. But what happened is that they were able to actually see this by using some AI in their Defender antivirus, and it's kind of interesting. But wow, it's a huge problem. It's really huge problem, and something will need to be done about this. That's for sure. Microsoft trying to push everybody off of this Windows Media Player, and it's funny because Microsoft's saying that a lot of people are still using the Windows Media Player, even in Windows 10, and basically Microsoft says, well, you know, you should move on to something else. And frankly, okay, I understand some of the things. I understand. Somebody posted a comment the other day, and about this, saying, well, you know, it's because I like the way that it works. And frankly, honestly, okay, if you're using Media Player and it works for you, I understand why should I move on to something else? I totally understand that, and you know, that it's part of our human nature. You know, we feel safe. We understand the interface. We don't see why we should use something else. Also, you know, there's a learning curve. You move on to the you know, the app in Windows, like Groove Music or you know, movies and TV for video, and you know, we kind of got to learn a little bit how it works. It changes our habits, but Microsoft is probably, you know, kind of wanting us to move on to something else. So of course, one of the things that Microsoft was saying is, oh well, you know, the movies and TV app is actually a great app for video playback. It plays much more, you know, many more formats and so on. But the funny thing is, I mean, I've used Groove because of its capability of syncing with OneDrive and playing on my Android phone and everything. And it has my music library from OneDrive, which is nice. But honestly, video playback and all of that, I always use the third-party app, either VLC or maybe you know, somebody like it is something like a DOM pod player. I've used movies and TV. Movies and TV actually has some problems. I find it's kind of sluggish to play, you know, MKV or videos that are high compression. There's all sorts of things that, I don't know, it's making me kind of think, you know, I'm not sure I want to use it. I've looked at it a little bit. There's something about the interface that I just can't grasp, and I kind of, you know, just wanna use another one. I want to use VLC or use you know, DOM pod player that actually are amazing. They have amazing codec packs included with them, so plays pretty much every format that exists on the planet. So you know, there's also that's one thing also that is to think about. I mean, if we look at the movies and TV app in Windows 10, it's not that it's a bad app, but it's an app that does not have all the codecs. Microsoft doesn't want to pay for codecs. That's why, you know, for a long time people were complaining, why is it that we don't have video DVD playback, movie DVDs playback in media player, for example, in Windows 7. And the reason is Microsoft doesn't want to pay for the codecs required to have all of that played, because VLC or down pod player, they pay royalties for the use of the different codecs that are making our computers capable. A lot of people don't know that. And Microsoft not wanting to pay this, also what happens is it's creating a problem where the app isn't capable of playing everything. And I mean, today there's a lot of formats to play. So it's, I don't know, the chicken and egg thing. It's, I don't know. If people move off of media player, I think they're just going to move on to, VLC or down pod player. I don't think they're going to use an app like Movies and TV personally, or even Groove. I mean, without the, honestly, without the fact that I'm playing. The fact that I'm playing music from OneDrive, I would not be using the Groove Music app at all. I'd be playing my music through whatever is something else than that. And now it's even worse, because since I've got Google Play Music, well, now I've totally just stopped using the Groove Music app. I'm actually using Google Play Music, because I can listen to whatever I want. So I don't know. It's a complex issue, and I understand why people sometimes want to, One of the things Microsoft also said, by the way, is that battery life will be better. That maybe, I don't know. Hey, this is Paul Allen, which is a co-founder of Microsoft with Bill Gates. He's scared of artificial intelligence and robots. And you know what? I think there's a reason being scared of that. I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't be, I think that maybe some of you guys might think that robots in computers with artificial intelligence might do bad things, for sure. So basically, what happens is that he wants to do a set of rules to make robots and artificial intelligence kind of implement a set of rules that they can't break all the time. They never can break. It reminded me when I read the article about, for those that have seen that movie with Will Smith, I, Robot, which is an interesting aspect of robots that would be in our lives with artificial intelligence and everything. And robots are incapable right now of really thinking by themselves. In reality, they're just operating a set of human given rules, basically, and instructions. But as AI gets better, we start seeing possibilities of maybe some robots or some machines kind of, well, it's scary when you think about it and when you see what's happening. And yeah, we saw a few things today. The one that is impressive for me about robots, because we got Patrick Manny. Hello there, by the way. I don't know if I said yeah, hello. He says it's good at solving the Rubik's Cube. And yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it solved the puzzle in 0.38 seconds. Not even half a second. This is crazy. But what is even more amazing, and that's where, we got to think well about artificial intelligence and machines. It's on the game Qbert. Last week I had a news item on that, where the AI knows that what you need to do in that game is have the highest score possible. And you know, when we play Qbert, I played Qbert a lot when I was younger. And of course, it's fun to see the different levels, but the idea, and at the end, in reality, if you play with your friends, it's not how many levels you did, it's the score, the high score. You have a higher score than your friend. Well, the computer that they actually asked it to learn the rules of the game and play actually found a loophole. It found a bug in the old Qbert game, and they exploited that bug because it knew it would do almost an unlimited score, because it would never die, because it can always avoid everything by, you know, thinking fast, and it just stayed at the same level all the time. It stopped progressing. Everybody was amazed there at the laboratory where they were doing the experiment, because there was like, why isn't it moving to other levels? Well, it doesn't have to, because it learned that what's the best thing to do is a high score, and it found a loophole where let's do a high score. And that shows us that, you know what, already just that little bit of what it did already kind of was ahead of what we were actually thinking it would do. So imagine, in just a little game like this, it does that. What will it be when they are very powerful and in control of a lot of things? There will be things we're not gonna, you know, we're not gonna think about that's gonna happen. Kind of scary. And yeah, I guess a robot probably slapped him in the face or something. The European Union. How about that rule of the European Union that asks any company, like social media companies, like, you know, if you're talking about if we're talking about you know, the you know, bad or fake news or something. If we're talking about terrorism, what they want to do is make sure that in 30 minutes, any flagged website, any flagged link because of inappropriate content, 30 minutes, you got to take it out. That's kind of a hell of a fast time to do it. 30 minutes. And I don't know, you know what's I don't like about that rule? I don't have any problem with, you know, say, you know, ISIS would put online some bad website with, you know, videos of whatever bad thing they're doing. I got no problem with, okay, no, let's take that down. I understand that, and I kind of find it okay. But at the same time, you're like, yeah, but what about, you know, in a 30-minute, just 30 minutes? And who's going to flag what also? Hey there, Miss Lady Catherine. Nice to have you on board. So, what's scary of this is, first of all, what will be the set of rules to flag something? Second of all, 30 minutes is kind of fast. And what I don't like about this is that, isn't it gonna kind of give more chances to have some kind of, you know, maybe some website that just somebody doesn't like, there's going to be some censorship of maybe content that should not be censored. I don't know. There's a few things there to think about. And I don't, you know, 30 minutes, wow. Take 30 minutes to remove something. Kind of a little fast, personally. Government agencies. The United States, Australia, and the UK government have decided to use this website, which is the Pond website. And this is the website I actually had a video about. Have you been pwned, or have I been pwned? Where you enter your email and it tells you if your email is in some list somewhere of, you know, maybe a security flaw, or, you know, if your data was stolen, or password, possible password. So if you were on a website, somewhere that got, you know, a data breach, well, you know, it tells you your email is in there, so maybe there are things you should do, like, you know, change password and so on. Well, it seems that governments are liking this, because they've now been doing this with government emails and accounts to see if they've been pawned, and, you know, take the required action afterwards. Hello, Gribble Pearls. Nice to have you on board. Nice to see everybody over here. So, you know, it's something that is kind of cool, and that website is really cool. Have I been pawned? I mean, you enter your email, lets you know that that if your email has been in some kind of, you know, data breach. Somebody posted to me, well, you know, why should I give my email to that website? They're gonna, you know, have the data breach. No, you don't understand. They're just giving an email. Giving an email simply means that it's going to tell you what, but giving an email doesn't actually do anything, except, you know, at the worst case scenario, spam. But you're not giving passwords or anything. You're just giving an email. You give out your email every day anyways on different things. It's just funny. This is a legitimate website, you know, if I've been pawned. And it's a good little place to see if, you know, your emails have been compromised somewhere. Flash Player in the Google Chrome browser. So Flash Player, according to a stat, in everyday life, when we use our computers, and of course the stat comes from the telemetry that Google gets from the Google Chrome browser, because it sends out telemetry, and it actually knows that in everyday life only 8% of all of us actually go to a website that requires Flash Player. So this is a very, very small, very small thing. And weren't we already on version 65? I thought we were already on version 65. I'm gonna check it out anyways and see what's new. If it's a new version, I'll be checking it out. So anyways, you know, the fact that only 8% of us, only 8%, shows that Google, you know, the Flash Player is a dying breed, and I think it's a good thing that by 2020 we're going to have a you know, the death of Flash Player. I would guess, you know, that 8%. I would guess that 8% is a percentage of people that maybe play online games. You know, there's all of these little websites with these little games, and this is where a lot of the Flash Player is needed. You know, I find it so funny, because the news website that I go to, which is a big news website here, actually it still uses Flash for the video embedded in its news articles, which I find completely idiot. And I've actually been part of those that were those that, you know, will be it's just funny, because I just don't look at the videos. You know, when I see, and more today, you know what, every time I go to a website and it says, oh, you need Flash Player to see this, I don't even take the time to use the Flash Player. I just, what the hell, I'm not going to use it, and that's it. I'm not going to use it. So, you know, it's crazy. But yeah, not all porn sites. Anyways, not the ones I go to, Albert. So anyways, nice to see that stat of Flash Player being kind of not used much. Microtorrent, or what some people call uTorrent. Wow, they haven't fixed the flaw in there, and it's a big flaw. If you're using microtorrent to go to the torrent websites, you can easily get hacked, or you can easily get, your computer can easily get, taken control of. It's a very serious flaw that's in there. It was discovered by Project Zero from Google, and they say that it's a bad one. And the problem with it is that they're not sure they're ever going to fix it. So that's, the crazy thing about it. Will it be fixed at some point? We don't know. So if you're using microtorrent, you better be careful, because really bad flaw in there. Hey, how about that state of Washington? The first state in the US to officially have net neutrality rules of its own, and that are in effect now, and that actually any internet service provider that want to be in the state of Washington needs to abide by the net neutrality rules. If they don't, they're not welcome there. So I would like to see this map filled up with net neutrality stuff. There are right now a little more than half of the US states that have promised to pass legislation for net neutrality. You know what? If the majority of US states would pass net neutrality rules, the hell with the FCC, and the hell with Ajit Pai, which is one of the biggest idiots. And it's just crazy, and it's nice to see that. It's nice to see that the states, and that some people out there are actually still want to have net neutrality. It's really, really cool. Hey, the largest distributed denial of service attack happened last week. The biggest ever. It hit GitHub. And when we did the news story, they said around 1.35 terabytes per second were being sent out to drop the site down. And now, as we're learning, they say no, it wasn't 1.35. Now they're at around 1.7 terabytes a second hitting GitHub. And of course, the servers just overloaded, so it took down the website, but it didn't take it for long. And that's very, very nice, because what's happening with this is that Akamai, which is one of the big major companies that will work with the internet traffic, what they did is that they took over after 10 minutes. And they said, we're going to deal with your problem. And so, first of all, because Akamai's internet pipes are so huge, it had less of an effect, but also mostly because they had huge filtering, removing the possibility of getting hit by that DDoS attack. So the website GitHub was down 10 minutes, but then it came back through Akamai and worked relatively well. But this is using a new technique, which is the memcached technique, and this makes attacks 50,000 times more powerful, which is totally amazing. And basically it's very scary, because suddenly the attacks are so huge. And today the code behind the memcached DDoS attacks was released. So it means anybody that's a bad guy that just knows a little bit about computers and wants to check it out can actually do that, and attack any website they would like. And I think 1.7 terabytes is a start. We're going to go in, so many terabytes of problems. So it's going to be interesting, because we're starting to get some of these biggest attacks that are just huge and kind of crazy. because it's not going to be the only one. And the fact that there is the code is out there now is going to drive a lot of people crazy. Do you use, anybody of you guys that go into somewhere, into a hotel, use the Wi-Fi of the hotel when you go there? Well, I can tell you one thing: don't. And the latest report is crazy. And I tend to not use, as a tech guy, I don't use the Wi-Fi anymore at any place that I go. I used to connect my phone or connect my laptop to some Wi-Fi connections, public Wi-Fi, but I don't anymore. I got enough gigabytes in here every month that my laptop or my phone or whatever I do it through my phone, my LTE connection instead. 1/3, the stat says that 1/3 of all data breach, 1/3 of all the problems with data theft and so on happen at hotel Wi-Fi's. Apparently, the hotel Wi-Fi is a hotspot where bad guys just stay around there all the time to snoop and try to get all of the stuff that they can. And apparently, among the bad guys, the hotel Wi-Fi's are called gold mines. They're called gold Wi-Fi's because they're just going to stay there and just steal everything that they can out of the connections. And let's face it, a lot of people that have and use the connections at the hotel Wi-Fi's, for example, or public Wi-Fi, a lot of people have not a lot of knowledge on security and staying safe. So they say that it's just crazy, just crazy. So you know what? I'm going to stick to connecting to my phone on the Wi-Fi. How about that Spring Creators Update? You gotta love Microsoft for no creativity. We'll call it like that. What is that? Really? Spring Creators Update. Microsoft, please do something. I don't know. Hire someone and have good names for your operating system. I don't know. If you're about to call it that, hire somebody to make it funny. I don't know. This is Windows 10 Elephant Update. Oh, Windows 10 Giraffe. I don't know. Make it funny. I don't care, but please stop with the creator stuff. I just can't anymore. And so anyways, it pretty much are sure that now it's going to be called the Spring Creators Update. And that means that basically we will, kind of have that coming in not long, because hey, we've been having, it's been the build-o-rama galore. 4 builds in 12 days plus a skip ahead. Wow, lots of stuff, and of course we're going to talk more about that in the Insider Hour a little later. But it is kind of interesting when you think about it. So I don't know. Well, we'll see. I hope that what I would like is, why not just give a version number? Hey there, Walker Bo. Nice to have you on board. Just give a version number. Windows 10 version. I would have been happy with Windows 10 version 1803, because the version number is very, very clear. I am myself lost sometimes when somebody says, "Oh, it's anniversary update," and you're like, "Oh yeah, what version is that? Oh, that's 1607, or that's, what is that?" Or then you got or creators update, and it's like, oh yeah, what's that version number already? I'm trying to figure out, and because we're getting a lot now of different versions of Windows 10. why you don't give them numbers? Just numbers. We just want to have the numbers. And the numbers are clear. 1803. Oh, March of 2018. That one is. You know, if they talk, if we would go back in time and say, oh yeah, 1607. It's like, oh yeah, that was July of 2016. It's telling us, which is nice. So you know, it's the numbers say what they are and when they were released. You got the info, and you know if you have the latest or not, because you can relate to a date and a month for the update, where you know somebody in creators update. And by the way, and I've seen that on my channel. Some people say, "Oh, I got that update that you're talking about. That you say is coming only in a few weeks, because I just got it now." No, you just got Fall Careers update from, last September or October. You haven't got the new one. And I've seen people saying, "Hey, I've got that new update." Okay, what's the version number? No, okay, that's creators update. You were really far behind. You were an anniversary update. So everybody's lost it. Is that the latest version or not? With the numbering stuff, it's something that's gonna be there and easy to know when it was released, and kind of easier to just grasp when and how that thing is. But God, crazy. And we're just a few weeks away from the official thing. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. It's crazy. We are really close to that 1803, that Spring Creators Update. A couple of weeks, we're there. It's crazy. Netty Voyager, nice to have you on board. It's just crazy. Hey there, Zach Antle, nice to have you on board. So, it's just going crazy a little bit here on the naming, and I wish they would have done something better. Before we move on to the questions, I want to talk about the Windows 10 S. Windows 10 S mode. So Windows 10 S mode is coming to every Windows computer. Okay, S mode will be part at some point of every versions of Windows that we've got. And there's positive people. Some people are positive and say, "Hey, I love S mode. It's a great thing." Some people are, S mode is a piece of crap that I'll never use. And I wanted to give my opinion on that. So, here's the thing. A version of Windows that was Windows 10 S was a bad idea. And that, always thought was a bad idea. Nobody will want that. And actually, Microsoft has the stat to prove it. Because they were giving Windows 10 S to the manufacturers who actually upgraded that to Windows 10 Pro automatically, because they didn't want to have their clients with Windows 10 S on it, because they knew it was going to be a huge problem. And it is pretty much proven that anybody that bought was Windows 10, a computer with Windows 10 S, they all used, 99.9% of them used the upgrade to the Pro version for free, and just going to they don't use it. So that shows us one thing: nobody wanted Windows 10 S. Now they're going to put that in an S mode in our computers. One decision that they've really taken that's really cool is anybody that has a computer that's in S mode, whatever version, it's going to be free to switch it to the whatever version you are. So It's going to be free to switch from S mode to home, or S mode to pro, and even enterprise. If enterprise ends up with an S mode machine, you cannot upgrade to the enterprise volume licensing for free, as long as they are in volume licensing already. That's kind of what you needed to do, Microsoft, because that would have been a bad idea, giving Windows 10 S and charging people to upgrade. People would have been mad. That would have been a dangerous move. I will not be using Windows 10 S, that's for sure, except for experimental means, maybe doing a video of, okay, I will try to spend a week using just Windows 10 S and see if I'm happy in life. Where I think it's a good idea to integrate Windows 10 S, okay, and that's where I will have a positive thing on that, a positive outlook on it, is say you have several PCs, you start a business, Windows 10 S might be a good idea for that business. Why? Because nobody will be able to install their whatever crap they might want to install because there's a PC interface, you know. And when I see the enterprise, when I go to fix computers, a lot of enterprise, I've seen people actually downloaded and installed some of their own software that they wanted to use, you know. Some people wanted to chat, so they had this chat software. I remember one, a lady that wanted to have news from Russia. She had that weird Russian toolbar that every time I see it, I always think that it's a virus, but it's actually the valid toolbar with, you know, Russian news outlets and stuff like that. And in your business, you don't want to have that. You don't want to have the user, you don't want to have your employees installing anything in your computer, because it's causing too much problems. It increases the risk of having malware, viruses, and so on. That's where I will accept Windows 10 S. That's where I think having just a little switch that's going to say, hey, you want to be in S mode or you want to be in a regular Windows mode that you have, is not a bad idea, because you'll be able, say for example, a great example, you've got friends coming over. Say you're going on vacation, you got friends coming over and they say, oh, can I use your computer? I could see myself switching to S mode so that when I come back, I'm not going to have a ton of crap that they wanted to install on the PC. I mean, they'll be able to go on the internet using Edge. They'll be able to you know, whatever they do on the internet, they'll pretty much be able to do it through the browser, which is okay. You'll be able to whatever you want to do there. And it's going to prevent people from installing crap. You know, that's another thing. I've seen so many people go on vacation and they say, oh, by the way, the computer's going to be used by some family that's from France or whatever, you know. And I'd say 1 out of 2 times at least that this happens, I end up being called when they're back from vacation, because they say, wow, my computer's really crappy now. It's full of garbage and pop-ups and whatever, because whoever used the computer decided that, oh, I'm going to install all my favorite shit on it, and part of it is crappy and creating problems. That's where, you know what, an S mode I think is not a bad idea. Honestly, I think it's not a bad idea. As long as you know, as long as they just do that. Okay, let's put a switch and have it possibly available, and basically it's, you know, but you know, for everyday use, nobody will want that. There's one mistake in Windows 10 S that I find that should not be, and it's very interesting. Hello there, Sheriff's House, by the way. One of the mistakes that Microsoft, I think, is doing, and I know they mentioned, by the way, this week that they're not going to change that. I wish that if you have S mode, I wish that when you're not in S mode, for example, you install Google Chrome, because the majority of people want to have Chrome as a web browser. I wish that when you go into Windows 10 S, there would be the Chrome would work, because it's already been installed in the machine. That would give a value to Windows 10 S that is much more interesting, preventing other people from installing crap, but with the apps that most people want to have and want to see. But it doesn't work. If you install Google Chrome on Windows 10 Home, you put that switch to Windows 10 S, Google Chrome is going to be on your desktop, or that icon, that program is going to be there. But when you click on it, it's going to say, oh, by the way, you can't run that in S mode. That I find a little dumb. It's there. Why not just give it access? No, it can't. It doesn't work. So anyways, that's my take on it. That's my take on it. And I do think that pretty much everybody that will be using a computer will never use Windows 10 S mode. The majority of people will never use that. You know, I don't see it. So, no, Patrick, it's totally free. There's no charging of anything. They did mention this week, no versions of Windows 10 will have any charge to switching from S or not. So, you know, I think, Tim, that they don't even know themselves why it's S. Shit mode? Maybe? Oh, God. So, it's free for every version of Windows. And you'll be able to move from one to the other, back and forth, no charges at all. So, you know, it's crazy. And that's the thing. To delay the big updates, like the major updates, the best way to do it is to go in the settings in the internet settings and in the app, in the settings app, and change your connection to a metered connection. A metered connection will be will give you the security updates, but will stop, for example, the Spring Creators update from appearing on your machine. But that would be the best way to do it. So, you know, it's just crazy. Yeah, but even if you do a separate account, if they import a virus, all accounts are going to be compromised, not just the one that's there. Sabo Salt, it's nice to have you here. So, you know, it's just crazy. So yeah, if you make your connection as a metered connection in the settings, you're preventing the big updates from appearing all the time. Well, you know what? Lolo Perkovsky says, not a person who allows anyone to the PC when you're away, but I wouldn't also. I have enough laptops here that I would set up, you know, one laptop that once I'm back, it would be simply, you know, once I'm back, it would be simply reformatted, and that's it. You know, maybe I'd let them with the Linux laptop. They're like, what the hell? What do I think of the Opera browser? It's a nice browser. I actually like Opera. It is a fine browser. Absolutely. Yeah, shit mode. Windows 10 in shit mode. Why not? Why not? Windows 10 in shit mode. Nope. S mode is going to be part of the Windows operating system, but if you're already, actually, I'll tell you what I've heard. Okay, what I've heard is that when you upgrade and S mode is part of your system, you will be asked if you want to have S mode enabled or not. It will be a question in the setup screen. And from there, you'll be able to say, no, I don't want, and I kind of reply back, okay, are you sure? You see, here's the reasons why you might want S mode and so on. And you say no, you'll be on the regular mode. It's not going to be on. A lot of people are thinking that that's going to be on by default. No, absolutely not. And for those that are already in a regular mode, S mode is going to be in there. There's going to be a switch. There's probably going to be a panel, maybe a little something saying, hey, S mode exists now on your machine and blah, blah, blah. But it's not supposed to be there and be on by default, honestly. What do you think of the S9? It's a nice phone, and I like the new camera, which is amazing, especially in low light. That said, there's no real reason. I've got an S7 and I don't see any reason to upgrade to S9. There's nothing there that is making me want to upgrade to the S9, honestly. But it is a nice, you know, it's still a nice phone, but it's not a breakthrough phone. There's nothing in there that makes it special. Yet, after viewing many videos of the S9 and reading a lot of articles, it's one of the best phones out there, for sure. And somebody that's, you know, maybe farther back in time, as an I saw somebody the other day has an S4. I was like, well, maybe an S9 would be a good upgrade now. But especially for those that have an S8, why S9? There's no need for that. Nothing special about it. Walker says, I have a question. Should we turn off AV antivirus while we install Windows 7 updates, then turn it on again after it is done? I rarely disable it while I update. When you are using Windows 7, no, you should not turn it off for Windows updates. It should not interfere with that. Where I play with that is when I used to install Windows 7, and you know, for a long time Windows 7 had these crazy numbers of updates. So you would install Windows 7 with Service Pack 1, for example, and then it would tell you, oh well, there's 246 updates coming to your computer, and we're like, whoa. When I clean install and have Windows 7 update itself, I do not install any antivirus. I let it update itself, and when it's all done, when everything's updated, then I put the antivirus. And for regular Patch Tuesday updates, no, I don't never turn it off. I always keep it on. There's no need to turn it off, that's for sure. Green9227, do I use delivery optimization since I have multiple computers? Yes, but I've modified the way that it's done, because delivery optimization is there's several ways that it can do it. It can do it and send bits through the internet, a little bit like a torrent, if you want, and you help others at the same time. But the delivery optimization within my network, I do say, yeah, within my network, share the bits in my home network so that all the Windows 10 machines update pretty much. But that doesn't work really for me right now, because I have, well, maybe I got 2 computers at the Fall Careers update. All the rest is insider machines or a Linux machine and so on. So I don't have a lot of PCs really running the same Windows version, basically. So, you know, it's kind of interesting. What else do we have here? What is there? What else is there? Are there any websites that will inform you about your CPUs? what the best, you know what, it's not necessarily a website, but these the software, there's a lot of software that are there that do tests on your machines. They usually have very detailed information about the CPU itself. If you have an Intel chip, I believe there's an Intel utility in the Intel webpage that gives you the full details of what your CPU is all about. Every little bit of details. Same for AMD. AMD has a utility you can download. It will give you all the details of your CPU if you want. Yeah, I'm not really sure because I don't see your phone, Ripple Pearl, so it's very complicated. One thing for sure, there must be some mix-up. Something happened. I don't have that here happening on my Galaxy S7, so there's something there that makes that kind of happen for your phone. It's almost as if you've got two Google Play things happening at the same time. There's only one thing there's one thing that's really crazy about Android, and for example, I have an app, and when I actually use it, it tells me that 3 other apps have crashed on my phone every time. Oh, this has crashed, this has crashed, this has crashed, and you're like, huh? What are you talking about? And every time I use that app, so on Android, it's a little bit like in Windows. Sometimes cross references and things are kind of weird and kind of, just crazy. What brand do I think has the highest quality computers for Windows? Nah, I don't like to really have any brands. I don't have any preferences. When you start paying into the $1,000 up, I believe pretty much every brand has relatively good and high quality devices, basically. Yeah, man, Kanakri says I'm on build 17115 and have the same problem with since, yeah, it's a known issue. Well, it's not a known issue because they thought there was no issues, but it's something that there is a blog post. The reason you have no feedback, no reactions to your post is because one of the things I always say is before you post a problem in the feedback hub, always make sure there's not already somebody that posted before. I have upvoted a post on that problem and added my comments because it is already there. There's already one that has, I don't remember how many upvotes, but it has a lot of upvotes, and they're surely going to look at it and they're going to fix it probably. So well, some do have it already, Zacantel, fast charging. Those that have a USB Type-C connector that often is also used as the power, a lot of them have fast charge for the device. A lot of them. So So Walker Bro says he's got an S3 and will upgrade to an S8. Yeah, you don't necessarily need the latest device. Patrick Manny says CPU-Z and GPU-Z must have applications. Cool. Cool. What else do we have? So, from what I've read, Cool Tech of Android P was it seems interesting. That new feature where there's going to be like background applications won't be able to do whatever they want to secure Android is not a bad idea at all. There seems to be interesting stuff in there. One of the things I've seen was in an office, or if you go somewhere, say you go to a museum and you want to have a kind of a GPS from within the rooms, what are the rooms in the the alleys and whatever in that building. Apparently that's going to be one thing that's going to be able to do. Kind of looks cool for sure. So I don't know. And yep, Windows 7 is going to die in 2020. Microsoft is not extending Windows 7. They are extremely stubborn. They will really have it. They want it to be gone. They want it to be gone. That's for sure. So Gripple Sparrow says, I didn't know until the other day when I read an article by Brad Sims that your stuff on OneDrive isn't as secure if you aren't on. Well, what he means by that is mostly because it anything can change at any time if you're on a free plan with Microsoft, so you don't really know. And you know, it probably doesn't work in the same manner when you're on the free and on the paid plan, probably. So yes, there will be, I'm pretty sure they will, well, you know, like they did with Windows XP, there's going to be enterprise that pay for continued upgrade support will have some security updates past 2020. So that is something that's going to happen for sure, for sure. So you know, what else is there? On my TP-Link router, do you have to use CD to set up your router, or is it all in the web config? Web config. You know, almost every router, even the routers today, will have, a lot of them have a software that you download to configure it. Some it's within the router. I've seen some routers that you plug, and immediately Windows tells you there's a piece of software that wants to install on your computer. And it's the config utility, and I never use that. I always use the web interface to do what I want. I hate using the setup software that comes with them. So if it's just giving you an error from time to time, Gripple Pearls, I think the best thing is to live with it and make sure that it's okay like that. I think it's gonna be okay. So you know, what else do we have? IT training, hey there. Whenever I'm applying disk quota on C drive for existing user, I am getting error, quota information cannot be added, user is unknown. Yeah, something happening there. Make sure there's no software that is actually one of the biggest problems with disk access and trying to apply rules to a disk is very often related to two things. Either it's related to the fact that you're using Windows, because remember that Windows itself, when it is locked on the C drive, prevents a lot of things from happening. Sometimes you got to do it from outside of Windows or before Windows starts. Also, make sure you don't have a piece of software that is preventing access to that type of information. There's a lot of software that block, and we don't often realize it, that something that we have installed is kind of blocking us from doing this. So yes, I did, Grapple Pearls, read, but it doesn't apply to you. The things that I've read there doesn't apply to you. It's not exactly the same thing, Grapple Pearls. So you know, it's I don't know, it's crazy. Yeah, it's because the C drive is locked. D drive is not locked. There's a C drive is always the one that's locked in Windows, because Windows takes the control of the disk, so it's preventing you from doing something. Well, the D drive is not locked. It's all the other drives. The only drive that's locked by Windows is C. All the other drives are not locked because they're not the main operating system drive. If Windows would be on D, for example, you'd have the reverse problem. You would say, I cannot do it on D, but I can do it on C because it's not locked. Windows is not using it right now. Remember, when you change things on the C drive, Windows can have a problem loading afterwards. So Windows locks down the C drive, to minimize the possibility of changes so that it can boot up afterwards. Yeah, but that's the advanced security stuff of that is for business use. But it doesn't mean it's not secure. It's still encrypted and it's still relatively secure. And I would not technically worry about that much. Because it's still, for Microsoft, what you have on your OneDrive, even if you're not paying, is a big blob of encrypted stuff. They don't know what's in the OneDrive folder. The difference is that when you are on Office 365, because it now opens up worlds of sharing data between users, they have the advanced security stuff applied to it to minimize. So anyone? You know, Gripple Pearls, what you could do, Google Play, is remove both apps. Remove all the Google Play apps. And, wait, I'm just getting mixed up here. So Google Play. Yeah, because if you remove Google Play, you want to have the store. I don't know exactly what you could do. There must be one that's wrong, but you'd have to know which one is wrong, which is where the problem is. And I believe you cannot delete one, because if you delete the icon, it's not deleting the app, and I believe Google Play cannot be uninstalled. So you have some kind of weird problem here, for sure. Okay, well, it's the VMware. It's a VMware problem. It's a virtual machine problem. It's the VMware that's probably preventing you from doing it. Remember that VMware, when you're on virtualization, does not apply the same rules. You're not in the same rules of having a PC. The virtualization actually changes a lot of things on the way that it actually works with the computer, including it often has generic things that it does, instead of like on the real machine where often it is the hardware has defined certain things. So that maybe is where it's happening. Michael Davis, nice to have you here. Is it always a good idea to do a clean install of Windows 10 after a major update like Fall Careers update? Not necessarily. It depends where you're at. You know, I'm running Fall Careers update. When I was on the Creators update, I upgraded to Fall Careers update without doing a clean install. I just upgraded. Got no problems, have no issues, it's working well. Not necessarily. You don't have to apply a clean install all the time. These updates are meant to usually work with the existing system and upgrading it to the new system. So it really is not it really is not something that you need to do. Typically I'll do it when my PC already starts to seem slow for me. So for example, now I've had this setup for what, a year now? My PC has been on the same setup for about a year, maybe a little less because my hard drive crashed. I don't remember when the hard drive crashed, but so what's happening is the problem is that when your computer starts to get slow or you start to see little glitches, then you might want to think of, oh, well, you know what, as I'm going to wait for that new version and clean install. So for example, now it still works well, but I see a little slowdown. Part of me is saying, hey, maybe that new version of Spring Creators Update might not be a bad idea to clean install from scratch because I start to see some issues maybe. But no, you don't have to. Absolutely not. Office 2010, you know, if Office 2010 is alright, Office 365, okay, I've got it because frankly I find that it's a really good deal for the fact that I've got a 1 terabyte drive. So 1 terabyte drive on OneDrive is giving me the possibility of you know, putting a lot of stuff in the cloud, and I like that. So just for the 1 terabyte of online cloud storage, it's already a good deal. And hey, I've got Office 365. I've got, you know, all the Office software with it. Kind of cool, you know. But honestly, it all depends on what you do. Yeah. I think for sure there must be one. There would be one to remove, but I'm not even sure it's going to let you remove it, honestly. And you know, what are your thoughts on under the glass fingerprint scanner on phone? Yeah, why not? If they work well, why not? Why not? I got no problem wherever it is, honestly. And what I often do is basically I just got distracted here. So you know, on the Android phones, and the problems, by the way, that we have is I often will you know, hard restart the phone, an Android phone. For example, on my Galaxy S7, you hold down you know, the down volume and the power button, and it forces after about 10 seconds the phone to restart. When you have problems in Android with a phone that has hangs, errors, some kind of weird glitch, it will often happen that by doing a hard restart, it actually fixes the issue because it cleans the memory. You don't lose anything. It just cleans the memory and restarts your phone, and it's one of the better things. Yeah, well, you don't. Nobody likes doing clean installs. I don't like doing a clean install. It's a tedious task, mostly because, you know, then after that, if I do a clean install, then it's like, okay, what are the software that I really need to have to reinstall, and everything is just crazy. It is faster than SSD, absolutely, but still, you know, you don't have to. So, you know, just crazy. Well, at least you got the invoke. There's an update, by the way, in your invoke, on your invoke. So there's an update. You should have more possibilities, Gripple Pearls. Michael Davis, no problem. Thank you very much. And we'll continue. We'll continue to make these videos for sure. What else do we have? So let's check out here. Refurbished laptop instead of desktop PC, or desktop PC is a question from Tommy, which is asking about refurbished laptops. Are they any good? You know what? For the most part, refurbished are as good as new. A lot of refurbished laptops, they've never been used or almost never been used. And a lot of refurbished laptops, you know, remember that most refurbished laptops, the company sends it back, repaired it, send it back, and gives you the same warranty most of the time. I have a lot of people around me that bought laptops that are refurbished, and I can tell you that most of the time, almost everybody I know, no issues at all. Do I need to clean install Windows 10? So that was the question we just answered. No, unless you have problems, nope. Major hardware change in Microsoft tips for reactivating Windows 10. That's also Tommy that sent me a tip on what to do when you do major hardware changes. But it's very, very important to understand that is not given. If you change your motherboard and your computer, you gotta think about, you know, having a little bit of luck, because you can end up with it doesn't activate, it will never activate, and it doesn't want to activate. Okay, so if there's one thing, it's that when you do a major change, it's a little complicated sometimes with Windows 10. You can follow, of course, the instructions that you send me on that page with that you know, will do a different little things. That's why it's a little easier when you've got a Microsoft account associated Windows 10 license, because it might actually make it easier for that to work on the to have it to work on the you know, for the activation. But still, you know, big change in the hardware, it won't recognize. Sometimes it's just gonna go crazy and not activate, and you're gonna be in some kind of loop where you might need to buy Windows 10, unfortunately. That's why keeping a good, you know, Windows 7, a valid Windows 7 and Windows 8 key around, it's not a bad idea. It still works apparently, so, you know. Well, technically your invoke should update itself, Grateful Pearls, by itself. It should update at night. So technically you should be on the last version if it's always on. How do you verify that? I think you can verify it maybe through the app on your phone or on Windows, I don't know. Since I don't have one, I can't, I don't really know exactly how you do it. So, Miss Lady Catherine bought a Mac last week, but took it back. She didn't like it. You know, they're not bad computers. They're different. They're very different. Cool tech. Should Google make the Google Assistant available for Windows? Well, it's kind of, because if you go in Google Chrome, you can have it working from the browser. So it's kind of there. But if you mean in a form like Alexa's coming to Windows in an app form, why not? Why not have all the assistants available and do whatever we want? I mean, there's Cortana, there's, you know, use whatever assistant you like. You know, since I have my Google Home Mini here, I gotta say I've enjoyed a lot of Google Assistant. I've been really using a lot of it and been having a lot of fun. And you know, as Cortana isn't bad. Cortana is actually a good assistant when I use it to do things. You know, Google Assistant is different, and it's very good also, you know. So you know, what else do we have? Yeah, so if someone is on Grateful Pearls, you should be updated normally. You should be updated. Zach Antle, would computers with AMOLED screens be a bad idea? No, not necessarily. They would actually give great picture, very crisp pictures. And you know, AMOLED is and Super AMOLED are actually getting better and better. What's happening is they are now less prone to the burn-ins. There still could be burn-ins, but they're not as prone to burn-ins as the ones that were a couple of years back. And these will get better with time, you know. We'll just have to go back to the you know, screensaver mode when you're not using it. Windows update weird issues. I think it's Miss Lady Catherine that sent me that one. I'm trying to remember about an update that didn't go the way it wanted to go. And that when you checked back, your updates were all there, and you say that you have the latest updates. You know what? I've seen here and there some people mentioning that they've got issues with Windows Update, showing updates that suddenly they say there's an error, and when they restart or they just look at it and it's like, okay, you know, everything's updated and everything's fine. And you know what? Don't worry about it. As long as you have the latest updates, it doesn't matter. I have the impression that Windows updates sometimes, because of some hardware or something on your computer, sometimes sees updates that's not meant to receive. Because in your post you did tell me where you were at, and you were at the latest update. So that's the important thing. You're at the latest update. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But I think sometimes some computers, for some reason, will see Windows updates that they're not supposed to show up for you because they're not for you. That's why there's an error. So yeah, share stats, the lock screen. Yep, I've seen that. Yeah, all the little details that they have in the lock screen and the insider build. You know, hang in there, because that insider build is going to become a official build in a couple of weeks, and I'll have a video kind of looking at that. I don't want to play with that as long as it's an insider build, honestly, for the pictures and stuff like that, because I don't want to play with it, not yet. So yeah, well, the cumulative update of 13 February is the last security update, so it's okay. Some people, but we will, by the way, share stats, we will talk about it. Once the build is official, we're at 1803 Spring Creators, that's when we'll tackle that problem. I don't want to play with that as long as it's still an insider. I guess you understand a little bit why. But when it's going to be the official thing, it's going to be different. So the important thing, Ripple Pearls, is that you've got the last security update, and that's important. The last update that was fixing USB issues is not pushed to everyone. The last one that I posted, a lot of people told me, I don't have it. So it's selective machines. It depends on your machine. So some of you have it because you had issues with, maybe possible issues with the USB stuff, but not necessarily everybody. But since you've got the update for 13th of February, which is the Patch Tuesday, you're okay. Don't worry about it. So I gave my opinion on that. PC suddenly very slow to boot and very hard to work with. What's happening? That is, well, then you're okay, Ripple Pearls. If you're on the latest update, there's been no updates for the past. What the last update was? When was the update for the KB something? Anyways, you're okay, Ripple Pearls. You'll see next week. Anyways, Tuesday of next week is Patch Tuesday. You should have that show up. If nothing shows up, then you got a problem. But that should show up. Patch Tuesday is our Tuesday of next week. So Windows Update problem with the last update. That is Tommy also mentioning that. You know what? If you've tried several times to get the update, make sure that you test it by, you restart your computer and that's the only thing you do. Don't work with your computer or do things on your computer while it's doing it, to make sure that you're maybe creating some kind of problem that's not making it work. So basically the thing is that you might, if it doesn't work after several restarts, I have a video on it. Just download it manually from the Microsoft Update catalog, the Windows Update catalog. If you go to the Microsoft Update catalog, you enter the KB number, you will have it available manually. You can click on it and manually install it. Very often, if it doesn't work within the Windows Update, 90% of the time it works if you update it through the Update catalog, basically. So, yeah, if you're on Windows, if you're on the Fall Careers Update, Basically, the number you should be at is 16299.251. That's the latest Windows version we've got. 16299.251. That's the latest update. So lock screen insider preview. I understand why I'm gonna wait till we have the official build to talk about it. And last but not least, lots of question about the Spectre and Meltdown, and I've got a lot of it in the past few days. Oh, let's just talk about the slow computer thing. Hard drive might be at fault, and many other things can create. I would do a clean install of Windows and see if it's better. If it comes back normal, cool. If it would be still slow, there is a possibility that you could have a hard drive failure, for sure. So Spectre and Meltdown, don't go crazy, people, over that. Now the Meltdown one, you should have the Meltdown fix. That is the update that came up in January for Windows. It should be fixed on all Windows PCs. Make sure that you've got the latest updates. Meltdown is fixed by the updates on your PC. Spectre, once Microsoft issues the updates for more processors, we will check it out. But there will be some of you out there that have old computers that you won't have a Spectre fixed, never. Should you be scared? Not really, because all the browsers that have been updated are updated to have mitigating effects. So it changes things and makes it harder for the computer to get, a problem because of the Spectre flaw, and that at least protects you in some way. Okay, so don't go crazy, but there will be people that won't have a fix for this. I can tell you that. So this was the Tech Show number 107, and we're March the 8th, 2018. So hope you enjoyed today's show. So anyways, I will be saying goodbye for today. Remember, we're now on Thursdays every time. I'll be back in 28 minutes, about 28 minutes at 5 p.m. Eastern, to go into the Insider Hour. So that's what we're going to talk about, the latest builds and what's happening with Windows 10. And well, thank you very much, Tim, for the donations. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Always nice to have you on board. And Windows Insider Hour in 30 minutes. 30 minutes. And I hope that you enjoy our shows. We'll be back next week, of course, Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Now, next week, Thursday, it's 3 p.m., but it's 1900 hours UTC. I got to remember that. No problem. Thanks everybody for the nice comments. And yeah, I'll check it out, Gripple Pearls. I'll check out what we can do about that and try to help you out for sure. So no problem. So take care, everybody, and see you in 27 minutes now, 26 minutes for Windows Insider Hour on the Insider channel. Thanks for being here. Love you all. Stay safe, please, everybody. And thanks again, everyone. Bye-bye.